RapidWeaver 8 comes with 5 brand new, beautifully designed themes. I'm going to use the example projects to show you each one of them. So let's get started with Artful, and we'll go straight into preview. What I like about Artful is the bold typography, the clean look, and what we've done with the banner image. So if we scroll down here, we can see this theme is really nice and clean, and we've got nice bold typography. With the banner image, what we've done is, rather than having a full width image in the background of the banner, we've gone with a portrait image here. So when you update the banner image for this page, it will be inserted into this area. So why don't we go ahead and customize a few of the options for this page just to show you how flexible this theme is. So first of all, I want to update the banner image. So let's open up the resource browser, go to Unsplash, and I'm going to search for a new portrait image. I think I'll use this one here. So let's open up the page inspector for this page and drop it into the banner area. We'll see RapidWeaver update in the background there. Next, what I want to do is change this from a light colored background to a dark color. So let's go to the page inspector and the theme styles tab and uncheck the use master style. This means that we can customize the styling just for this page. And we're going to change the background from white to black. Perhaps a little bit lighter so the image doesn't stand out quite as much. Something like that. Next, what we can do is we can customize the color of the headings and the body text. So let's choose body text, and we're going to set that to be white. And then we'll scroll down and find the headings, and we'll set the text also to be white, like so. And I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, next up, what I wanted to mention is that for the content area here, we have this 2-column layout. And what this actually is the main content is on the left-hand side, and the sidebar content is on the right-hand side. And that is controlled from the main content columns and sidebar column settings here. So if we wanted a more traditional layout for this page, we could set the sidebar column to be 3 perhaps, and the main content to be 9. And that will give us more of a traditional main content area and sidebar layout. So that's how we achieve the 2-column layout there. So why don't we just go ahead and set that back to 6 and 6, like so. Of course, there's plenty more options that you can update inside of this theme. Go ahead and have a play around with all of those. I think you'll find that you can really customize this to make it your own. But what we'll do is move on to the next theme. So we'll close that out and we'll open up the engineer project and again go straight to preview. Here you can see we have a bit more of a traditional layout. We have this full page banner area here with a very clear title and slogan. And as we scroll down, we have a 1-column layout below. So as you can see there, and then the darker footer at the bottom. We've also got this kind of cool animation feature on the navigation. So as you hover over it, you'll see the highlight for that item animates in and out, like so. I think that's pretty cool. So why don't we go ahead and customize the banner area again and perhaps some of the colors and see what options we've got available to us. So again, I'll open up the page inspector and then I'll go to Unsplash and we will search for a new image. So I'll search for construction and have a scroll through, find an image that I like, perhaps this one. We'll drop it into the banner area, like so. That'll update in the background. Then again, let's go to the theme styles and uncheck the use master style so we can adjust it for this page. Let's go ahead and update the primary color. Let's use something perhaps more of an orangey red there. There you'll see that will get updated. Next, I want to change how the banner area or the banner image is displayed. So if we scroll down here, we'll see that we have this banner background options. So by default, we are setting the brightness filter to be 50%. So if we drag the slider up to 100%, you'll see that that gets lightened, and we can go all the way up to 200. So again, you can play around with the options here, but we'll go back to around 100, like so. And in the drop down here, you have a whole host of filters that can be applied to this banner image. So for example, if we wanted to apply the saturation filter, we could do so like this, and then drag the slider up slightly, and you'll see that the colors start to get a little bit warmer the higher we go. What we can also do is adjust the overlay color. So if we click on that there, by default we get a 50% opacity black, but if we didn't want that, we could set that to 0%, and you'll see that that really gets brightened up there. What we might want is something perhaps closer to 20%, just so that the text pops off the page a little bit more there. This theme also features these nice header dividers, and you can control the one inside of the banner area here with the divider width slider here. So if we drag that to be smaller, you'll see that that reduces in size, or we can make it wider. That's going to depend on the length of your title and slogan and what you think looks best. You can also hide the divider by unchecking that option there. We can also hide the banner by checking the option here. So if you didn't want it for one of your pages, perhaps on the blog for example, you don't want a banner area, you want to show your post straight away, you can hide that there. We also have in all of the themes, not just this theme, a content width option. By default for this theme, the width is set to 880 pixels. So you can enter a pixel width, or you can choose the percentage option. So if you want a more fluid layout, we could set this to be 90%. Now if we scroll down, we'll see that our content has got a lot wider. So if you wanted something a bit thinner, we could say 65. And then this means that the layout for your theme, or the overall width of your theme, is fluid. So I can show you that in action if we open the device simulator. You can see if we scroll down, the content width is always 65% of the device. So the overall content width will grow and shrink depending on the device width. So 65 might be a little bit small. We might want to do something more like 90. Okay, so if we scroll down again, we'll see that gets updated here, but it's also updated on the desktop. Okay, again, there's plenty of options inside of the theme styles to really customize this and make the theme fit in with your content or your branding. Have a play around with those in your own time, but we are going to move on to the next theme. So we'll close that out, and we will go to the mountains theme, and again go straight to preview. What I love about this theme is the subtle animations as you scroll. Let me show you that. You should have noticed there as we scrolled down the page, both the main content area and the sidebar content animated and faded in as it came into the viewport. If we scroll back up, you'll notice that they fade out again. Another feature I really like about this theme is that we have used the site logo in the sidebar area here. So rather than a traditional logo in the menu bar, what we've done is made this theme work with something perhaps more of a portrait style photo again. And I think this really works well in this theme. We've also got this really nice big bold banner area that fills up the full width and height of the browser window. So again, why don't we go ahead and customize this a little bit just to show you how you can make it look and feel slightly different to the defaults here. So let's open up the page inspector. And you'll actually notice I've already used, or the example project has already used, a custom banner image. So if we delete that, we'll get the default image that is used for this theme. We could go ahead and replace this with another Unsplash image. So I'm going to search for mountains. And let's see if we can find an image that we want to use here. Okay, this one looks pretty nice. Let's drop that in there. You'll see that that gets updated in the background. Now, the text here is a little bit hard to read, so let's have a look at how we could customize that. So on the Theme Styles tab, uncheck the Master Style option again. And let's scroll down to the banner area here. So again, you'll see we get a whole host of filter options here. Why don't we go and choose the brightness and reduce that down to maybe 70%? And you'll see that that darkens the background image. We could also use an overlay if we wanted to. So you could set the brightness back to 100%. This is all going to depend on your image that you're using. And then of course we can overlay that perhaps 50% black. We could even give it a slightly golden tint, so it gives it a bit of a warmer feel, something like that. And you'll see that now the text is popping off the page a little bit more. This is a little bit more easier to read, and we can see the navigation links more easily as well. Of course, we can customize the navigation links if we wanted to. By default, this is a 50% white. We could make that 100% white, so they're easier to read. And we can obviously adjust all the active links. If we wanted something a little bit warmer, a little bit more orange, we can do that like so. Something like that looks nice. We could save that color and reuse it for the slogan. So just something a little bit more orange, a little bit warmer. That's looking quite nice. And if we scroll down there, we could also adjust the site logo. So again, let's go to the Unsplash images and search for a portrait. And scroll through and find one that we like. Maybe we will use this guy here. So let's go to the general settings and we will drop him into the site logo area. Now if we go back to homepage and preview, we'll see we've got him now as our site logo. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of the other options in this theme. The font size options are pretty good. This comes in all of the themes as well. You can just simply drag the slider anywhere between 12 and 26 pixels. So if we wanted some bolder typography, we could drag that up and you'll see that this gets enlarged here, like so. That's looking pretty good. Again, we can customize the main content and the sidebar columns. This theme defaults to 8 columns for the main content and 4 for the sidebar. So if we wanted the sidebar smaller and the main content larger, we could do so like that. Okay, again, have a play around with the theme options there, but we'll move on to the next theme. So we'll close this out and go to the future theme. And again, go straight to preview so we can see how this looks. Now this is more of a kind of software developer theme. It's using the Apple fonts, so the Apple system fonts. So you'll see we've got some really nice headers here that fit nicely in with the Mac operating system. We've got some nice images with the subtle rounded corners and the nice box shadows. But what I really love about this theme is the banner area. So if you notice as I scroll up and down there, you get a really subtle parallax and fading in and out animation. So if you notice here as I go down, the welcome and say hello to the future titles fade out, and the banner image there is a very, very subtle parallax animation as well. So I think that works really nicely. So again, let's have a quick look at the customization options for this theme. If we go to the page inspector again, of course we can override the site banner, so we could do that very quickly. Why don't we go ahead, and you can see actually here in the resources folder, these are some of the images that we considered using or we have used in the marketing images for this theme. So this one here, for example, if we drop that in, you'll see this gives the whole theme a completely different feel. But I think this image works really nicely actually. Let's go to the theme style options, and why don't we go down to the banner straight away, because I think there is an overlay on here. No, it's not being overlaid. No, there actually isn't. What's happening here, I've just noticed, is the brightness is being set to 50%. So if we scroll that up to 100, we get a nice, much more brighter image. What we can also do is change the angle of this overlap here. So if you wanted a straight overlap, you could set this to 0 and you'll get that there. If you wanted it angled in the opposite direction, you could do so like that. Or you could do something perhaps more subtle, like so. And of course, as you scroll down, you still get the same subtle animation features. Okay, and next up on the headings area here, you'll see you've got the divider width option, similar to the engineering theme. You can drag this to make those wider. Something like that might work. We can also update the primary color. So if this kind of salmon pink didn't work for you, you could go with something a bit more blue. And you'll see that that gets updated. So the primary color will be used throughout the theme for things like buttons and links and all sorts of stuff like that. If you want to go back to the default for this color, you can just click the X button there and it will go back to the theme's default. Now of course we can update the body text color as well if we wanted to. Maybe you wanted something a bit darker. We can do so like that. And by default in this theme, both the main content and the sidebar are set to 12 columns. So you get a single column layout. And you can see that here because the sidebar content is below the main content area. If we wanted a traditional 2-column layout, we could set the main content to be, let's say, 8. And we could set the sidebar content to be 4. Now when we scroll up, we see we get the sidebar there. Of course, if you wanted the sidebar to be thinner, but you only wanted the main content to be 8, you could still set the sidebar columns to be 3. Okay, again, I encourage you to go through all of the styling options for this theme. There's plenty of them, and I really think that you can customize it to make it fit with your website or your branding. But what we'll do is move on to the final theme, and that is climate. And go straight to preview again. And this theme is a little bit different. The default is that it's really dark and rich typography with this full page banner area. So if we scroll down, you'll see we get this nice dark background with the white text. And I think this works really nicely as a dark theme. Now, of course, there's plenty of customization options for this theme as well. So we could turn this into a light colored theme if you really like the general styling of this, but you didn't want something dark. So I'll show you how to do that now. Let's open up the page inspector and the resource browser and go to Unsplash straight away. And I'm going to search for a banner. And let's find one that we think looks pretty good. Scroll through here. Maybe we will use this image here. So drag and drop that in. And that will be placed into our banner area. Now you'll notice that the image is black and white. Now the way that we've achieved this is by using the filter feature for the banner that you've already seen. So we can go ahead to the theme styles and change that option here. If we go down, you'll see we have set the saturate amount to be 0%. So if we were to just set that back to 100, you'll see that we get the colored image in the background. Then all we need to do is remove the overlay color. Then we get that really bright image there. So you might want to bring the saturation down slightly, or you might want to leave that at 100% and perhaps set the overlay to be slightly less in your face, maybe 20% black. Something like that. Let me try 25. Yeah, that'll do. Then what we could do is customize the background of the navigation. So we actually might want, maybe let's try an overlay on that as well, 10%. A bit darker maybe, 30. Yeah, something like that. So we can still see that we've got the navigation at the top there. Then we can change the background color of the main area. So here, let's go with white. And we'll set the body text to be dark gray. So let's scroll down, we'll see that there. Finally, all we need to do is update the sidebar text. So again, we'll make that a dark gray. And we will update the headings text to be black, like so. And let's scroll down and have a look at that. Yeah, there we go. And of course, if you wanted the footer to be white, we could do so like this. Maybe make that a little bit darker and scroll down. And there we go. Now we've very quickly changed from a very dark theme into a light theme. And I think this theme works well with that. By default, this is a really dark and rich theme, but I think it works really nicely as a light colored theme as well. Okay, that's the 5 brand new themes inside of RapidWeaver 8. I really hope that you enjoy using them. There are some great new theme customization options that were not possible in RapidWeaver 7. And I really think this is going to take your RapidWeaver sites to the next level. You can really customize them and make them your own. As I say, I really hope you enjoy using these new themes, and I will see you in the next video.